Right, welcome back. So, got stuff falling over. In this episode, we got my M2c Kraton that kind of had a bad spill last time it was out. Bad crash on this wing. So, we got a new wing support. Part number ARA 320492, wing mount. We also have the ARA 723430 wing support bolts. And then we have a Spur gear 39 tooth ARA 311051. All going into this to see if we can make this thing better. And then we're going to give it a rip tomorrow and see if I can make it last a bash session. Another thing I got to do is the pillow balls are still coming loose, so I'm going to take them back apart. I'm going to put some more Teflon tape on them, see if we can thicken them up, keep them tight at least to get through a bash day. So I think the first thing we need to do is probably break out some bigger drivers. But the wings got to come off. I am going to get this thing cleaned up because it is filthy. So the first thing we're going to do is see if we can get this wing off. That is not the size. Now the bolts that are in here are ones that is bent. So let's get some channel locks on that. Look at this stuff. I know I went to the hardware store and got the hardware for this last time. Just a little, I think a little longer. But we'll find out right now. They don't seem to go all the way in to these hex drivers. Get my beat up wing back on here. Wow, really? Is there nuts on the bottom of these? Yes, there are. All right, found the little nuts. That's kind of silly. Not to give you the hardware with the wing. So you end up having to transfer these little nuts. Simple little wing install. So we're going to save what bolts didn't break. Which it looks like about 3. Actually, all 4 didn't break. I think only 1 broke. And we're going to throw all this away. And then we'll get ready for the spur gear swap. So now that we got the wing changed, I'm going to go ahead and get in this spur gear. I'm going to have to pull the transmission because pulling this cover, the motor mount's still in the way. So the way I'm going to accomplish that is I'm going to pull this side, pull the motor out. I'm going to get rid of the sensor wire because I'm not using it. And then I'm going to try to sneak the trans out. So rather than pulling everything out the center again, considering I just did this. Let's give this a shot. This has the PPS mount on it. We're going to have to adjust the mesh anyway, so my plans are I'm hoping to get that that motor away from this corner. This one's got that other motor mount bolt. Which we're going to remove. You can tell it's maxed out because it's lined up with that hole. Got to loosen up this battery tray. That's gotta get that one really loose. Battery tray's almost out. This should have the PPS 3D printed spacer for the cover, so you can use the cover again. And then got the fan wire zip tied down. In a couple of spots, I think, along with the sensor wire. There's the sensor wire that's not working anymore. Get rid of that. 44 tooth, as you see, people are asking. Rocks everywhere in this thing. Now I have to pull the other pin, the other side. That should release that bottom one. Then we're going to pull the pin on the back side if I can get to it. This has got the old top mount, the solid bar, which I think we're going to have to get rid of as well. Wasn't planning on removing the whole top brace. But I think it's going to make my life easier. Rocks. That way we can pull those up. Now, I'm going to set this back in, just so it's not flopping around, ripping the wires. Now we're going to unbolt the motor mount. Get all the rocks out of there. One more, so we'll turn it back this way so I can hold it. That's all our motor mount. That's where the two-piece upper comes in handy. And I just did all this. There goes the transmission. And the gasket hanging out. All greasy. We're going to get to working on this thing now. I was just in here putting earplugs. There we go. So here's the gear we're replacing. Earplugs still have some give. So let's get our tool, get this thing off. Yes, I'm using a Traxxas tool. Bearing. Let's get our gear. Here it is. That looks like the bigger space compared to that. They could be even. Looks pretty even. Bearing's still good. Let me show you before I put the gear on what the size difference is. Pretty much fits to the inside of that. Pretty big difference. So that should bring my motor pretty far in. Nice and tight. There we go. So I'm going to get this stuff cleaned up. We got the gear swapped out, and I'll wipe down the chassis and everything, because every time I'm in here I try to get as many rocks out as possible. There's literally rocks everywhere in this thing. So I'm going to get the chassis cleaned up, and then we'll be right back. Alright, went ahead and got the chassis cleaned up, found a couple of issues. Gotta get this transmission wiped down. I don't know why I keep saying but let me show you what's going on. This is why you constantly want to check your RC cars. Alright, so let me so right here, these tie rods on both sides are loose. This side is real loose, but it's not really the bolt, it's worn the shock tower. So I'm going to check that bolt. It's like the, yeah, so that stud is loose. There we go. Let me tighten the other side now. God, that's a big bolt on that side. So both those bolts were loose. And I found another one on this control arm. It's like everything coming loose. So, next, let's get the tranny put back together. Probably going to have to loosen that up to get the bottom bolt in. Forgot about that. Put it in loosely. That'll work. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start getting my braces, getting my pins in, that kind of stuff. So we'll be right back. But gear is in. Most of the hardware is double checked. We'll be right back. All right. So one long shaft. Oh, wrong way. It's on the right side. Make sure the hole is facing the right way. Those are going into plastic, so don't over torque them. I'll go back after everything's together and put a hand wrench on them. All right, we are getting closer to finishing this assembly. See how much room we have now. Snap that in. Don't break your wrist. And we'll get in the side mount bolts. Really curious to see how much room we got, guys. It's going to be fun seeing how fast this thing is tomorrow. Big rock will be coming next for repairs. Yes, I said repairs. There we go. Look at all that room. That is definitely the way to go. Tie up the game changer fan. Make sure everything's plugged in. No issues. Everything's away from the drive shaft. My ultimate Kraton 8S back on the road, ready to rip. So, will this be better than the new ExB coming out? I've got a lot of mods on this thing, and these are true upgrades from M2c. This is my first Kraton, so I've done all the experimenting on this one, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out soon if this is truly better than an ExB. I do see a couple of videos floating out there now on the ExB. Somehow people got them, but as you guys know, I won't be buying one. Kraton's not my favorite RC, and once this M2c one is working properly, I will be getting rid of my other one. Just want to make sure that brace, I have raised this one up. Yeah, there we go. Got our gear changed out. Got our wing changed out. Got our bolts changed out. The broken ones as well. That one broke. And we put in this spur. So there we go. We also took out the sensor wire because the sensor's not working in that motor. So there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. And we will see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.